All right, what's up, everybody? We're back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. Today, we have another episode of the Look In series, a series where at the end of each team season, I go in, look at, kind of recap the team season, look at the future, the state of the team, all the stuff like that. Today's episode is on the Oklahoma City Thunder. We're going to get into it here in today's video. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications, all stuff like that. I really appreciate it. Really helps out a lot. Join the membership if you want to learn more about the membership. There's a video on my channel explaining all of it. You can go back and watch that. That's my Twitter, TikTok, stuff like that. Description down below. And yeah, don't waste any more of your time. Let's get right to it. So the Oklahoma City Thunder this season, they finished the regular season 57-25, finishing number one in the Western Conference. Just an unprecedented year for the Oklahoma City Thunder. After last year, they had some really good things. Shea became this all-star MVP candidate type of player. Jalen Williams had a really good rookie season. They had some really good things. Mark Daigneault finished top three, I think, at Coach of the Year. They're one game away from making the playoffs. And people coming into this year expected them to be in that mix again. Adding in Chet Holmgren, adding in some things here and there. Another year of J-Dub, another year of Shea, another year of Giddey, another year of all this stuff. And they blew all the expectations coming into the season out of the water. Like, they were one of the top teams in the NBA for majority of the year. They're one of the they're top five offense and defense, second in net rating. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander finished number three in MVP, or number three or number two, I want to say, in MVP voting. Jalen Williams had a great second season. Chet Holmgren finished second in Rookie of the Year. Their bench was amazing. Mark Daigneault wins Coach of the Year. Their numbers, stats were amazing. They were just a really good team, despite being one of the youngest teams in the NBA. They finished as the youngest one seed ever. They get to the playoffs. They sweep the Pelicans in the first round. Unfortunately, they lose to the Dallas Mavericks in 6 games in the second round. But despite them losing, in the second round, even though they're one seed and all that stuff, they should not hang their heads low on what they did this season. They were spectacular. I mean, this type of success for a team this young shouldn't happen. Doesn't happen often. And for them to be able to be this young with a core of Shea being 25, J-Dub being 22, Josh Giddey being 21, even guys like Isaiah Joe 24, Luke Dort 24, Aaron Wiggins 25, Kisson Wallace is 20 as a rookie, like Jalen Williams is 21. Having a young core like this, like to get 57 wins and to even be a one seed, even be like at this point, doesn't happen that often. So the future is it's only up for OKC from here. It is only up from OKC for here, and I am very excited. I think everybody in the league is very excited about the future of this team because they already are at this point right now. Who knows what's gonna happen in another 2 years when Shea reaches a prime and J Dub, Chet have another year, and then maybe they build this team out a little bit more and get some more pieces. Like, this team is gonna be a dangerous one. Like, this is going to be a very dangerous team that they're going to be able to compete in the West for a very long time with what they have right now. So, being in the OKC shoes right now, it's got to be some of the best shoes you could be in the NBA at this moment. You know, so that was a great season, and now we look on to the future of this team. There's not really that much more to say about the regular season. I mean, they dominated the regular season. They lost in the playoffs in 6 games. Just showed this playoff loss really just showed some of the things that they really need to fill this team out. Maybe some more size. Obviously, they were dominated on the glass and in the paint. Some more size. Maybe got to shift a few things here and there. But overall, still an amazing season for this Oklahoma City Thunder team who had no business even being at this point how good they were. So now we look on to the offseason. Look at the NBA draft. They are going to have another lottery pick. They're going to have the 12th overall pick in the draft from the Houston Rockets. And with that pick, it's very interesting. I think they can definitely get some good things in this draft with that number 12 overall pick. I think size is a big thing that they could use in this draft. Looking at some of the names here, Cody Williams would be funny. Get J Dub's little brother. Maybe a guy like Wes Messi out of Baylor. You know, young center, 7-footer that could come off the bench. Maybe if they can't, well, draft's for free agency, and maybe if they don't want to go out and spend some money on a big center, they can go draft one. Guy like Wes Messi out of Baylor, maybe even a Kyle Filipowski out of Duke. Even though I think I would like Wes Messi a lot more, more interior presence. Kyle Filipowski is a more skill, you know, perimeter, then get into the type center. Vince Messi, I think, would be a nice pick. Or maybe even not even a center, maybe a big forward. Maybe a guy like Tijan Saloon from overseas, even though they do have Usman James. I don't know how they would fit in with that. Maybe a guy like Tristan Da Silva out of Colorado, a four that's big that can stretch the floor as well. Maybe even take a chance on Khalil Ware from Indiana. Rim running, you know, pogo stick type of center. A guy like Tyler Smith from the G League that can shoot the ball. Like there's some options. Do they think about Zach Edey? I think that's a conversation. Do they think about Zach Edey at number 12? I don't know if they would, but I think they think about him. Of getting a seven, why not get a 7'4" center as a backup if you really want size? You know what I mean? Or they can go get a shooter, maybe a guy like Dalton Connect out of Tennessee. I think that would fit them really well. Yeah, there's some good options for the Oklahoma City Thunder in this draft. So I'm very excited for that draft. And then look at free agency. They're gonna have a lot of cap space. They have about $35 million open in cap space, which is the fourth most in the NBA coming into this free agency. Yeah, looking at their free agents, they don't really have any big, like the only big free agents are really like Gordon Hayward, who didn't really do much in the trade to when they got him from OKC. Kind of a disappointment, but they didn't really need him that much. And then Bismack Biyombo, Mike Muscala, guys that weren't even in the rotation. So yeah, this team's gonna be back next year. The only guys that really have to worry about is Isaiah Joe and Aaron Wiggins, who both are on team options and are both gonna be eligible for extensions. And I think they can get some pretty nice money. They can get some pretty solid money because those two are really big pieces of the Oklahoma City Thunder bench. So having that, Shea is also eligible for an extension this year. So is Josh Giddey, who that is a big question mark about this team is Josh Giddey. Because if you look at the playoffs, look at how this team was defended. Look at the series in the playoffs. I guess the Mavericks especially. He was not good. He was not good in the Mavericks series and lost his starting spot. He lost his starting spot in that series to the Mavericks. Was not good in that series. He averaged 6 points, 2 rebounds, an assist. He shot 43% from the field, 18% from three, and only played 12 and a half minutes per game. So not a good performance and outing for Josh Giddey. Look at some of the plus minus. Game 1, 16 minutes, 2 points, 1 for 4, -7. Game 2, he played 10 minutes, 8 points, 3 for 6, -20. -20 in a game they lost by 9, by the way. Game 3, 13 minutes, 9 points, 4 for 8, -1. Not bad. For him, at least. Game 4, 12 minutes, 2 for 8, 5 points. He was a +6. So his minutes at least weren't bad. Game 5, came off the bench, played 11 minutes, 5 for 8, -3. And then last night's game 6, he played in 10 minutes, 2 points, 1 for 3, +2. Just not a good series from Josh Giddey. He had to come off the bench. Games when he started, they just always started off bad because the Mavericks were just leaving Josh Giddey wide open and being like, if Josh Giddey hits shots, Josh Giddey hits shots. If he does anything, he does something, but we're not worried about him. And it worked. He had to come off the bench. He was put in a weird position. And now his future with the Oklahoma City Thunder is a real question. Because now, with the way the team is going, with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander being an MVP type player, averaging 30 a game, he's got the ball in his hands a lot. You also have Jalen Williams, who looks like he's going to be a really good number 2. Maybe could be an all-star, potentially. He needs the ball in his hands for his mid-range pull-ups and the 3-ball and all stuff like that. You also have Chet Holmgren down there that needs the ball. And when you have ball-dominant players like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jalen Williams, guys like that, what you need around him is spacing, obviously. And Josh Giddey is not a player that does that. He's not a good three-point shooter yet. He's not an amazing offensive player scoring-wise yet. His best ability is playmaking, having the ball in his hands and getting everything, setting the table for everybody else. And with a team like OKC that already has a guy like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander who has the ball in his hands a lot, and you want the ball in his hands a lot because he can go and get 35 whenever he wants to. It's just really tough for Josh Giddey to find a role with this team if he can't have the ball in his hands. So I think a Josh Giddey trade is probably inevitable at this point. I just think the construction of this team doesn't allow Josh Giddey to really be himself with this. So I think Josh Giddey probably is going to be traded at some point. He's also eligible for an extension this offseason. And I think maybe this offseason could be the one that, he gets traded to. Where could he go? That's a good question. Maybe a team like New Orleans, even though they aren't a really great 3-point shooting team either. They do have Jordan Hawkins, Herb Jones has become a really good 3-point shooter. Trey Murphy the third. They might trade Brandon Ingram. Is that a swap right there? Josh Giddey for Brandon Ingram? I don't know how much I love that, but just throwing stuff out there. I'm just coming off the top of the head. Nothing. Don't take any of this like too deep, too serious. Um, I guess maybe New Orleans. I just think the teams I maybe need a lead guard. Teams I need a lead guard. Utah. Even though I like Keontae George. San Antonio. Could San Antonio be the team? Even though maybe they would want more of a score and playmaker type point guard, but maybe if that doesn't work out, if Trey Young or any of that doesn't work out for San Antonio, Josh Giddey could be another option, a young option that could come in and work. I don't know, but they do have 2 top 10 picks, and they probably are going to take a point guard on one of those. So why would they also bring in another young point guard? It's tough. It is tough to find a place for Josh Giddey right now. I was gonna say Orlando, but Orlando needs some scoring. They don't need more playmaking. They need scoring. Yeah, it's tough to find a place for Josh Giddey right now. But I think eventually that's what it's gonna have to come down to, just because his fit with this team is not great. And you saw even in this series when they have a guy like Isaiah Joe out there or a Cason Wallace, who I think maybe could potentially take that starting spot. Or Aaron Wiggins, who isn't even an amazing shooter anyway, but he's a really good cutter and knows how to play off the ball. So just having another guy out there that can space the floor, a guy that doesn't really need the ball in his hands a whole lot, I think is huge for this OKC Thunder team with players like Shea and with Jalen Williams who need the ball in his hands. You want them to have the ball in his hands, especially in late clutch game situations, because those guys are amazing players. So I think that's really the thing. And then looking at free agency as well, I think what they need some more size. They were one of the worst rebounding teams. They're not, besides Chet, who's 7'1", but even then he's a skinnier 7'1", which he's still only like 21 years old, so he's gonna grow eventually. But some more size, probably a good backup center that could just eat up some minutes sometimes, and you could throw him in also next to Chet, and maybe things wouldn't go too awry. And then yes, just some more size, really, just some more size that can help this team in terms of the rebounding, because that's really their one flaw is their rebounding and their size and the paint presence. Even though Chet is an amazing defender, amazing rim protector, one of the best. I mean, he was in the top in block shots per game this season as a rookie. Like, just more paint presence, more size is really what this team lacks. But besides that, I mean, this team's got it made right now. I mean, they still have thousands of first round picks to just throw at other teams. They're young, they're core, and what's going to carry this team for the rest of the future is right now not even, you know, near the age of 27 yet. Like, things are looking good in OKC. Things are looking great in OKC, and if you're an OKC Thunder fan right now, you should be ecstatic about the future. So I'm very excited for this. But yeah, it's gonna be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. And once again, if you enjoyed the content around here, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications, and stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. Really upset a lot. If you missed any of the other looking episodes of this series, playlist will be up here. You can go back and watch all the teams that have been eliminated already. Watch what I said about their season. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.